this is Lisa from Life in Layouts over here on the scrap room, and today I have a layout for you using the Vicki Boutin Storyteller. So here are the pieces that I got in my kit. I do recommend that you go and check out the video from Tina Gale. She gives an amazing description of what all of the papers and everything that you get in the Scrap Room's kit. With this layout, I'm going to make a starburst design, and I've never made one with this technique before, but I had seen it on another YouTube video. And basically what you do is you start with a center point on a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, and then you just draw lines from that center point from one end of the piece of paper to the other, and then you just cut it out, and that is your template. It's important that you number your template because the papers will be difficult to put back together if you don't have those numbers in there. So I went ahead and did that and cut that out. And then what you do is you use that template to cut out the pieces of paper. And so I went ahead and did that with this kit, and I tried to make sure that I was able to make it work for the papers that I had. And when you are doing this, I would recommend that you do your pencil marks on the back. That way you don't have to erase them, but it's important that when you do flip over the paper that you also flip over your template, which I did most of the time, but there were a couple times that I forgot to do that and ended up not having the right piece of paper. But I do love the way that this layout came out. So what I decided to do was try to alternate the paper. I used the front and the back of the paper. So on that bird paper, the back of that is the teal. I started out with that idea and it didn't work very well. I didn't follow through with that idea. Once you get started with it, it does make it really hard to make sure that you have all the pieces. I think that when I do this again, I might not use such busy pattern papers because they're just so busy that I did have to mat all of my photos on the layout. I also wish that I would have started the center point over a little more so that it was either further to the left or further to the right. The way that it ended up, the center point is right almost on the edge of the 12 by 12 piece, and so it made it really difficult to make sure that it all lined up. Because I went ahead and used washi tape on the back and taped the two pieces together, I didn't realize that until I cut the layout apart. So here is where I realized that I had messed up in regards to the making sure that it was lined up correctly. I did the pieces backwards. So I had to change it around just a little bit, and that's when I realized that I had used the wrong side of the paper. So I just went ahead and took out my ATG. You can take off your ATG if you're pretty quick about it and it hasn't set too long. You can just rub it off. Sometimes I do tear the paper a little bit, but I knew that it was going to be where my photos would cover it up, so I wasn't too worried about it. And this is where you can see that I realized that I cut it wrong, so I had to cut another piece of paper. And those two pieces of paper that are down at the bottom are very similar. They're not the same piece of paper, but because both of them have large florals on them, I really wish I would have been able to put that yellow polka dot between them. But again, I put the photo over that piece right there, and you really can't tell too much on there. So I did cut out a lot of this because there was a lot of fussing around with it and making sure that it was all accurate and lined up correctly. Once I got everything down, it really does turn out pretty awesome. I love the way that it looks. So once I got it down, I went ahead and took off the washi tape, cut the layout apart. And then that's when I realized that I wish I would have made the center point over a little bit further to the left. I think it would have worked best if it was further to the left. So I felt like my design was kind of floating off the page and I wanted to ground it. So I went ahead and added just a 1/4 inch strip. I really add 1/4 inch strips when I feel like there's just something missing. I feel like just that 1/4 inch of a piece of paper really does help bring the layout together, bring the papers together, ground the papers, whatever the situation may be. I only have 3 photos for this particular layout, and I could have totally done that in just a 1-page layout, but I really wanted to use this starburst design on 2 pages, and I wanted to use all of the embellishments that I could for this layout. So even though there's only 3 photos, there's a lot of embellishments. I go ahead into each one of the little starburst pieces and add embellishment pieces from the kit. So I do trim down these 2 photos and then go ahead and mount them on the white paper so that they stand out a little bit more than what they would just on the layout itself. And that white paper is from my stash. So I went ahead and lined up the 2 photos so that they cover both of the left and right hand side. And then this is my 3rd photo here. Now, this is my friend's daughter, and she was in a concert playing her instrument. And so I wanted to have that photo over there on the far left of like everyone in the group. And then the 2 photos that are there in the center are like close-up photos of her. So the pieces that came in this Vicki Boutin storyteller kit were really large pieces, and so that's why I was okay again with using just 3 photos, because I knew that the embellishment pieces were so large and it would take up a lot of the space. So you can see over there on the far left I have that huge butterfly, and then I have those 2 floral pieces that I put right next to both of the photos. I did pop up the butterfly. I used some fun foam on that, and just to give it a little dimension right next to that photo and add to it. I have such trouble using paper clips. I know that people use them in so many different types of layouts and they turn out so awesome, but I always have such a trouble using it. So I just went ahead and cut a paperclip part off of it and just used the star, and I really like the way that that laid right there next to that butterfly. And then I used one of the tags that says noted from my little 4x6 sticker sheet. And this tag over here on the right hand side, it says I have a story to tell, and that really didn't fit with my layout. So what I went ahead and did was just cut out a piece of the yellow polka dot paper and then trim it down to fit right there in the center of that to cover up that saying. And then I'm just going to put one of the embellishment pieces right on top of it. And I really like the way that that turned out as well. So you can see here that I have that shine bright, and that's actually going to be my title. It's a little light bulb, and I just think that it works really well for this particular layout. Now, I did forget to turn my camera on when I did a lot of the embellishment pieces. So you can see here that I almost used the entire sticker sheet. I think that there were only a couple of words left after I finished it. So in that teal piece, I have the word love, 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 and then a little burgundy butterfly. Over there on the left-hand side of the page, I have good things. And then I tried to fill in each one of the starburst designs with some of the shapes from the embellishment kit. So you can see there that I have a lot of the hearts and the stars and some of the like puffy circles, and just really filling in all of the pieces. And I just love the way that that pulls out the design in the starburst. Over on the left, I did go ahead and add an arrow right down to the bottom of the layout, and then just added a couple more embellishment pieces there. And so here is my final layout, as well as some close-ups. We would love for you to join us over on our Facebook group and share any of the layouts that you designed with the Flavor of the Month kits. All right, everyone, if you enjoyed this video, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already and you want to see more layout inspiration for the Flavor of the Month kit, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope that you have a scrappy day.